What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 5 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Karl Franz Old World campaign. So as we saw last time, we got our third, I believe, regular confederation and first major confederation completed as Nuln, the jewel of the Empire with its gunnery school, has joined Reikland, and ELSPETH von DRAKEN is ours as well, though we do need to reset her because the AI completely screwed her over in terms of her skills and didn't get anything in the unique line. I've noticed this generally speaking with Lords, that the AI has a tendency to never put anything in Lord's unique lines, which is just bizarre. But anyway, in terms of what we're going to be doing this time, other than trying to consolidate the new territories that we've taken, especially here at the edges where they're close to Malagor, we will be looking to wipe out the Greenskins, then move north to wipe out the Corsairs of Spite and Dark Elves, as it's pretty much inevitable that they will attack us. We also got a Galmaraz last episode, the Warhammer itself, after which the control will be bumped up +2 faction-wide, which is really needed. Every single one of these bonus control things, and we'll get another +2 out of the set once we get Karl's Silver Seal, and that will be decent, but still not enough to quite counteract all the Confederation debuffs that we will inevitably continue to suffer as we get the Elector counts to join us in our faction. Anyway, let's see what we gotta do this turn. I did the minor amounts of admin that needed to be done between the episodes in terms of deleting some units and deleting a few buildings out of those that we've confederated, but otherwise I think we might actually be able to end the turn. Alright. I guess what we could do, somebody reminded me to make sure that Mr. Theodoric here grabs this little island. And, oh, it's a battle, though I don't... Pyrrhic victory, really, it'll kill off all of the halberdiers. Alright, I mean, it's a minor fight, but I don't mind fighting it. Once again, it's fairly rare that we get to fight the Vampire Coast, at least until we send a few seafaring armies out to patrol the waters and try to deal with those Norscan longships. But anyway, for now, we'll fight this. Alrighty, here we go. Should be a reasonably easy little fight, I would imagine. We do have range superiority due to the big old pile of handgunners that we have here, and, if the Vampire Coast doesn't have range superiority, generally they're having a pretty bad day. Anyway, gonna start off with those handguns firing away, just gonna target whatever zombies we can reach, just to make sure that the enemy can't fire back upon us. Alrighty, and we are going to position our right flank such that the pikes and the other units of handguns are able to just get a little bit closer. We have the general moving around the flank and also the unit of Free Company militia moving around the flank. Somebody got to get to those enemy mortars, though funnily enough we probably could have destroyed them easily enough with our handgunners. And yeah, these are all basic handgunners, but again, we are intent on building an army with all the different handgun variants in it, which should be a pretty darn neat one. And we'll get to see a lot more of this and see how well they all work together. Anyway. It looks like the enemy is annoyed at lastness, heading towards us. A tide call will move through our forces, doing about 10% damage to a melee and a ranged troop, but we have plenty of pikes, plenty of halberds, and plenty of ways to hold the tide of the zombies off. Not so easy to hold back the big old crabby boy, however, as the Rotting Leviathan barrels through our line of pikes and halberds, doing a decent bit of damage to them. Although the enemy lord has at this point fallen, and now we we can switch several of our units of handgunners to help fire at the Rotting Leviathan. The Rotting Leviathan does usually have, I believe, a bronze shield on it, but with the shield breaker on it, it's not blocking any shots of missile fire. Otherwise, with the Lord dead, with most of the zombies on their way out, with the Free Company and the General having found those carronades, not mortars, and the last of the enemy units, and Krabby Boy getting shot up, it looks like the battle is just about and very nearly ours. In fact, the Rotting Leviathan has fallen under the sheer weight of gunfire. Guess we don't need cannons for it. Gonna activate a Glacial Blast with our wizard just because we can and whack away at a few more of those enemies. Is generally speaking pretty useful to get the Celestial Wizards into combat or sort of intersperse them in the line because they have that blinded effect and it is a very strong 15 melee, 15 melee attack and melee defense. All told. Anyway, with that, the last of the enemy units will melt away and the battle will be ours, certainly decisive, but, well, it was always going to be. Alright, there we go. Very nice little fight and a bit of a preview of the inevitable sort of long gun army that we're going to build that will focus on the different types of long guns and handgun variants that are available to the faction. Should be really fun. Gotta love those gunnery armies. Anyway, we are going to take the money, not heal up, because about half of this army is most likely going to get deleted while the other half will get transferred to other armies. Pardon captives, like so. Let's see if we get anything good out of that. And materials, let's see. There it is. This is fantastic. The best thing to get in the, not the super early game, but pretty much at all times after the super early game. Mostly because in the super early game you can't really take advantage of it all that much. But well done, Theodric von Bluten, and honestly, I think we're going to have to keep you now. We have to give him a reward for this, and his reward will be being kept around despite not being the ideal type of a general or a trait unit. Well done, sir. This also means another thing. Yeah, that's fantastic. We are going to have to redo some buildings, so you, just to recover the cash that we would have otherwise wasted, can save on a lot more money now. Granted, we didn't build a lot of buildings in a lot of places this turn because we were busy, but nonetheless, we will surely have built some in a few places. Looks good, looks good. Alright, this also means another thing. We have essentially 6 turns in which to kick off our economy, just massively. And we should thus probably reduce some of the number of units that we have gotten extra a little bit further for this reason. You know what, let's get this halberdier out. Wait, how many do we have here? Yeah, we have 4 here, you have 3, was it? Should be more than sufficient halberdiers for this one particular army. Alright, so take you out as well. Within these 6 turns, if we can essentially power up our economy sufficiently... Oh, there's another island here. And we'll send Dolph over there. Dolph, transfer to... I guess, transfer all your troops except 1 to Wolfram, just so that we don't waste the money. And then we'll take them back, and then we'll go to the shipwreck next turn. And do this minus, I don't know, Pistolier, it doesn't really matter. Like so.
What does the Emperor bid?
And we'll grab this island. But yeah, we have 6 turns in which we will attempt to do the best we can to kick our economy into gear as much as possible, which will hopefully enable us to get at least, I don't know, 6 armies underway after 10 or so turns of the heightened economic levels. I think it's certainly achievable. Well, with the, 6 counting the 2 that were planned, or 2 or 3 that were planned. But anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit. Let's build a few buildings. And we could start upgrading these in Altdorf. It's reasonably safe, and yeah, let's do it. They will generate additional money. We need to basically generate as much money as possible within these 6 turns. The Imperial Harbor will take 4 turns to build, so it is better to try to focus on things that will be faster to build, because they will give us more money faster, essentially. Let's upgrade Scheinfeld here. We do want to get the Knights Panther Chapter House, but 2.4k. Well, then again, it's never going to get cheaper, but then again, it's not going to generate money. You will. And you're reasonably cheap. We'll start with all the clothiers that we can. Frankly, Altstad doesn't have one either, but it wants the... Well, it really wants the Null Gunnery Foundry. It'll only give us +1 tank capacity. Huh. Actually, I wonder, is this +1 tank capacity of each type of tank, or is it +1 capacity of any tank? And I guess we'll find out. Though once again, I would love to build a clothier there. Here we are waiting to build an upgrade for the buff, so we'll wait on that. We'll wait on Wissenberg. Eilhart, you're fine as you are. Grunberg, you're fine as well, and you are going into Festag, so we're probably not going to invest in you right now. Solace, you're fine, and Black Pit is fine. What about not Bugenhofen, Ubersreich? Yes, it's also waiting for the Council Burgomeisters to get that town up and running. Alright, we'll wait the turn. I don't mind. Save on a little bit of money. We'll need all the cash we can get. Let's then upgrade the Knights Panther chapter house. Alright, that's all the money we got, and we'll try to get even more money out of any other factions. I guess we did the Diplo last episode, but if anybody's willing to give us a significant amount of cash, we should probably take it. Clan Skull, out of curiosity, is willing to give us 3k for us not wiping them out, but I think we can't do that. Would have been nice, but we will want to destroy them here. Though, if they do have a little tiny army running around somewhere, maybe we'll leave them and then take the money and then let them die somewhere, or possibly to somebody else. Actually, speaking of these guys, let's see if they attack Elspeth and try to ambush her while she's in march stance. And they could certainly kill her army, even if there's no way that they kill her. End turn. Ah, you, sir. You are... you're fantastic. Well done. Alright, looks like Borosaurus continues to do well in Norska, and that's perfectly fine. Just, I guess he's going to be a good ally for Empire, just as he was for Thorgrim. And it's great because Kislevite units mesh perfectly with Imperial units. So, yeah, definitely gonna put that to you. What the heck is this? What are you doing? Alright, well, you're about to die, but weird behavior from the AI. He went underway stance to go from here to here. From here to... Why? What possible reason for this behavior, I don't understand. It's funny though. Ally mission successful, enemy killed in battle, If you're wondering what the heck that is, like little tiny mini, I don't know, quarter of a stack from Slash Scratch Deep tried to run away and they got intercepted. Got another Scepter of Stability, another Scribe, a little bit of extra research. In fact, we should put that on a hero immediately so that, please don't tell me you have a Scribe. You do have a Scribe. Alright, what about this guy? Alright, you can get a Scribe. It's not a lot of research, but the more scribes we get by ranking up an own territory after winning 3 or more battles, the more research we'll get before the tech thieves are up and running. Festag! Oh! What is happening? Control +4 in all provinces? You've got to be kidding me. And materials at sea? We are blessed by Sigmar this day. I am actually concerned because it almost feels like since the game has done this, something horrific is going to happen. I'm just going to take a look around, maybe like a super powerful rogue army, like one of the really nasty ones spawning in the middle of our territory. I already have one, but I don't see one. Anyway, Festag, your followers praise their leader and pray to the gods for their continuing support. They hold a great feast in your honor. Beautiful. Anyway, Karl, kill this. Ooh, though if you do, you will not be able to reach Drakenhöhle. Oh well.
No peace, just...
They're not gonna run. Huh. Okay, that's surprising. We have a lot of resolve that's gonna damage the mounted yeoman, isn't it? Horrifically, and it'll also damage Theodore Bruckner. In fact, it'll damage him more than the mounted yeoman. Oh well, I love to heal, but every single penny counts at this point in time. Blue Viper is destroyed. Karl, you will be unable to reach the place, but Waldemar will, meaning we're going to send you here. And we're going to move in Karl to reinforce. This way we don't have to waste a turn, and perhaps we can get a few more battles going before the materials at sea ends. We have 5 turns to make use of that construction cost reduction, and we need to use it as much as possible. Go, Karl. Any kind of stance you want to take, bud? We could get the miscast chance, but you're probably fine right now. Alright. Let's take a look at a few other things. First of all, Diplo, mostly because if anybody's willing to give us more cash. Ooh, Parafon's in a bad way, isn't it? Yeah, looks like Ziflin is wiped out their army. Oh, but they've retaken Montfort. Huh. I guess Ziplin's doing just as bad. It looks like they've also lost their main stack. Would have been the ideal time to attack him, but I guess not now. Anyway, anybody else willing to do anything? Lorelorn, sort of. Hawkland, not really. And, Clan Skull is still willing to peace out. Oh wait, because we haven't taken their final settlement. Whoops, yeah, I'm just stupid, guys. Come on. Let's go. Slash scratch deep. Just to double check, is it, well, I mean, I'm sure it's walled, but it doesn't have the actual wall building, which means we can make it a cinematic battle. You can reinforce mostly just to leech XP. But I think Elspeth should be able to take it just fine, and ooh, we have a lord in there as well. Alright. This will be the debut battle for Elspeth, for her dragon, for the Hellstorm rocket battery, for great cannons, for those Wissenberg welcomers, grenade launcher, war wagons, for null and iron sets. We've got some good stuff. You guys, I guess we'll put the, we'll buff the melee troops a little bit. Assigned Burning Head versus, well, I guess we'll take the regeneration for now, because Elspeth doesn't have it as yet. We can get Flaming and Frost Fire attacks. Weakness to Fire and Slow, and Burning Head. Well, the Burning Head's probably going to be a little bit more useful, so out of the two, that's the one we're going to take. And we can't assign it to our Reinforcing Army, which is a bit of a shame, but what can you do? Anyway, should be a fun time. Before we start, we did reach the engagement threshold, 500 likes and 70 comments, and so this will be a longer, hour-adjacent-ish episode, and the engagement threshold remains for the next episode to be the same, plus the streak on Saturday, so do keep that in mind. Drop those likes and comments below if you're enjoying. Go.
Let the slaughter begin, and the winds of Shaiish blow. Every drop of blood will only augment my power.
Alrighty, here we go. Elspeth von Draken, the Dark Lady of Nuln, and her Carmine Dragon are going to be making their debut against nearly 2 stacks of Skaven defending. So we'll have to work through a fair few of them as we move on in. Nice big ol', Never took a closer, sorry. About the camera work. Never took a close enough look at the throne here. Oh, wow. Okay, stop. Maybe I should have just paused it. Interesting to see that the bones also come all the way down. Like here. Do they have... Are they tied here, or are they clasping bony hands? I don't know. But it's a neat throne. It's a little bit bigger than I was expecting. Almost surprised that the dragon can carry that, but all good. Probably not crazy heavy anyway. Not like a person is very heavy after all. Anyway, with that, we are going to start the battle. Elspeth is going to move on in and get to the Spirit Leech on the enemy lord, a Grey Seer of Ruin, who we want off field as fast as possible. And between Spirit Leech and the anti-single entity Dragon Breath of the Carmine Dragon, there we go. Gotta love that laser. That lord should be in pretty bad shape, down to about 30% of its HP. Though, funnily enough, it would probably be more effective on a bigger target, as it's kind of hard to hit these little guys. But that's alright. In the meantime, we are waiting for our reinforcements. Not that we are going to completely wait for them to come on in. We're going to start the battle off by moving up our first Hellstorm rocket battery. Obviously, we've been sort of foregoing in getting the artillery, mostly due to the expense and the fact that we keep getting additional troops from Confederations. But it's nearly time. As in to start building artillery in decent numbers. Anyway, speaking of artillery, the shootout begins. The enemy can't quite reach us with those plague claws. And so we're going to fire upon them and their crews with that Hellstorm rocket battery in the hopes of knocking it out, which I imagine we should be able to do fairly, well, I don't know about quickly, but quickly enough. And on top of that, it looks like the Plague Claws have decided to fire upon Elspeth, which is pretty much a waste of time. She can heal through it as needed, and on top of that, she can, well, she's not going to take too much damage from the Plague Claws, although admittedly I have seen them do fairly okay at knocking big old single targets down and dishing out damage, so Gotta be at least somewhat wary of it, but I do only say somewhat because, well, Elspeth can simply dive into the piles of clan rats, as she has already done, and that silences the catapults, only for them to keep taking damage. Elspeth and her dragon, I'm sure, will be dishing out plenty of damage to the clan rats below, and I believe there is a warlord in here as well, or a chieftain, no, a warlord. And between Spirit Leeches and the Dragon, Elspeth should be able to handle said rat just fine. It's also something for for our army to do while we wait for that gate to be broken through and by the single cannon in this army. I wonder which army we should put the legendary steam tank unit in. I assume that we can build it because it's part of the, I believe it's part of the Gnome Gunnery School building. I'm gonna have to double check, but I'm pretty sure I saw it there, and if we can build it, well, we dang well should. Anyway, the gate is down to about 13,000 HP. Gonna get that second laser breath down onto the enemy warlord, who is down similar to the Grey Seer to about 20% of his HP. A couple more hits, I'm sure, will bring him down. And Elspeth has currently lost about 10% of her HP, having been fighting this entire time. 134 HP on the rat as he tries to escape. But I'd wager we don't really need to bother chasing him down with the dragon, because we can simply Spirit Leech and not look back, while Elspeth continues working on the Night Runners here, who are terrified and running. She's up to 88 kills and 15,000 damage before the beginning of the, well, true beginning of the battle, although the gate is almost done, and we are soon going to be entering the fray with everybody else. Just going to speed this up a teensy bit. They're going to summon their clan rats. Really, they're going to summon their clan rats inside the enemy settlement. I purposely kept back a bunch of infantry together with our artillery pieces so that they would be able to protect them from the clan rat summons. But alas, it looks like the enemy will not even attempt it. They would have failed because we kept back our infantry, but nonetheless. Anyway, similar to what we've seen Karl do in previous episodes, Elspeth is using the mass of the Carmine Dragon to knock those rats off the walls. Of course, stray shots from the handguns, the crossbows, and the huntsmen, and we'll also begin to rain down on the enemy. And now that the gate is through and we've started to move our units in, I'm going to have to start working through them with good old-fashioned sword and spear work. Alright, we also have our Empire Captain here, together with the Grandmaster, and they're going to start the battle off as we slowly start making our way through that gate. Not using those butt ladders, and this is going to take a fair bit. At least until, another dragon breath. And that's not really going to do anything, but we had to get it out of, had to use it on something. So might as well just use it in the blob and then land once again. All the enemy lords and heroes are dead, so there was no need to save it. Although, funnily enough, I do believe there is a unit of rat ogres running around there, so maybe that would have been the, better option, but I hadn't checked about the rat ogres at this point, so I just decided to get it off cooldown and use it up. Alrighty, well, this is probably going to take a while, even with the arrows raining down upon the enemy. The angle is, not conducive to using the rocket battery to help out with this, but the rocket battery has, in the meantime, taken care of all of those plague claw catapults that the AI, for whatever reason, always deploys in this particular location on this particular map. It works fine enough for our purposes, I suppose. Oh, look, the captain and the Grandmaster fighting back to back. Still feels a little bit weird to have a Imperial Dragon or a dragon with the Empire, but it is a pretty darn big force multiplier in the early game, especially against a faction like Skaven, which without rattling guns, without warp lightning cannons, would have a very difficult time bringing the dragon down. Although, admittedly, it only has 70 armor, which isn't all that high. I'm willing to bet it'll go up there as soon as we get Elspeth some more items, however. Plus, she does have her healing, once again, her regeneration, and her healing ability. That's also a really nice model. Anyway, the crossbow bolts and huntsman arrows continue raining down on the enemy below. We continue to send units slowly but surely of Imperial state troops, as in the regular Imperial troops, into the enemy settlement. It's probably, however, going to be a long time of moving through that gate before we have sufficient numbers to overwhelm the rats. ELSPETH is up to 240 kills now and 26,000 damage, hardly surprising considering all the splash damage she continues to do. Finally, I do believe the gate has been, or not the gate, but the wall has been breached yet again, and it's time to move a few more units into the enemy settlement. Going to lead with our grenade unit, the Wissenberg's Welcomers. And I'm interested to see how the Outriders with grenade launchers, just generally grenade launchers within, do against the rat hordes. Should in theory be an ideal sort of situation to them, or for them. Well, if they fire into center mass rather than, you know, just off like that, but that's all good. Frankly, it's probably safer than firing closer to our own units, because that would be real dangerous. Alrighty, there we go. That's a nice volley of grenades into them. ELSPETH has also moved up towards the bridge a little bit with the idea of blocking it off so that we can get a few more units inside the enemy settlement. We got Free Company militia, we got handguns, and we have just sent in our first unit of Nuln Ironsides in there as well. We'll be seeing plenty more of them over the course of the campaign. And it's nice that we got a super high rank one with the ELSPETH Confederation, plus 16 reload skill and plus 8 and 9 melee attack and defense. Very nice. 39-49, very solid stats, which allows you to use the Nuln Ironsides like a hybrid melee range unit in all range armies, as they can still hold their own in melee, at least for a little while. Their HP is obviously not comparable to a full-fledged infantry unit, but still decent enough. Anyway, the breach around the gate has been cleared, and now it's time to start making our way forward. We see the support fire coming in from the Ironsides. There we go. Now that they've taken up position up on top of the walls, firing down on the enemy below, we've also got our war wagons in here now, firing both grenades and the regular handgun blasts at the enemy. And Free Company on top of that as well. Ooh, hopefully this episode we can get our Free Company army up and, well, fighting. And just because I really enjoy playing run and gun armies, they're just really fun to micro. It's just one of the more fun types of armies to do. In terms of playing the army, at least. Anyway, we've got some storm vermin that have moved on in, and these are the halberd variants, so we do have to be at least somewhat careful with ELSPETH. Armor-piercing halberds are going to be dangerous to the dragon. That said, between her and several units, plus the arrows raining down on the enemy, we should be able to make our way through them decently well. We got more clan rats, and again, my most hated visual effect, these darn nets. But all good. Maybe over time I'll grow fond of them. It's not gonna happen. Anyway, we haven't made our way up on the bridge as yet, but we have some pretty good solid positioning now. The storm vermin are down to about 30% of their HP, and the Ironsides continue to make good use of their position up on top of this wall, firing over the heads of the rest of our units and into the rat blob below. And, what is that? Wait, is that a unit of... Oh, no, okay, it's a single sword. I thought for a second it was the crossed swords, I believe, symbol of a unit of Death Runners, and I got very concerned because Death Runners would tear through Free Company and the swordsman here like nobody's business. Anyway, there we go. A very solid sort of reverse siege, getting us to be able to make use of the enemy's choke point here to destroy a bunch of units. 4 or 5 of them routing at the same time. Looks like the storm vermin are out as well, and though it does look like some units have made their way up on top of the wall again, I'm sure we'll be fine. Trying to breach the wall again as well. It's down to about 4,000 HP thanks to our cannon fire. And it looks like this unit of clan rats have decided to charge the units of Nuln Ironsides. Unfortunately for them, Again, the Ironsides have pretty solid stats, and they can fight a unit of clan rats, and the way that the enemy turns, or has turned here, means that we can pincushion them all at the same time, so they're pretty much doomed. Plus, Elspeth is on top of the wall. Huh. Can a flying... Can a flying unit die if it's landed and the wall collapses? I imagine it can. It would have been funny if Elspeth was here and just and just died like that. Well, obviously immortal because a legendary lord, but nonetheless it would have been amusing. Anyway, it looks like the wall is cleared, the bridge is cleared. A few more shots from that rocket battery, always lovely to see. I would be surprised if the rocket battery doesn't get 1,000 kills in this particular battle. It is fighting the Skaven after all, and these things are damn good. It is also nice to see the replay working with Elspeth. For those who remember my Elspeth campaign, her amethyst units, essentially, especially or in particular, the rocket battery. Well, actually, the regular rocket batteries as well in her campaign caused desyncs due to some issues. But since we don't have her gunnery school workshop, whatever the ability is called, the unique aspect to her faction, we won't be getting desyncs from our rocket batteries, which is great because the Empire almost feels incomplete without the ability to use those. Anyway, making our way across the bridge now, and wouldn't you know it, it is those rat ogres I mentioned earlier. Would have been nice to get that laser breath down on the enemy below, the Carmine Dragon breath, but all good. We have plenty of range units to fire upon them, and in particular, the war wagons are going to move on in, and the war wagons in SFO are devastatingly good snipers. As long as they can actually fire over the heads of these units, they should be okay. Alright, come on guys, okay, I see one of them firing, the rest are having a little bit of trouble on the bridge, but perhaps that shouldn't be too surprising. All good though, it looks like the irregular state troops are holding the enemy off. And that's allowing at least a decent amount of our units to fire, and we can always land Elspeth down upon the enemy below as needed, like so. Spirit Leech and Dragon come down upon you. Even a Rat Ogre is probably bound to be pretty terrified. Even on Warpstone juices they are. And there we go. Seconds after Elspeth and her Carmine land upon the land upon the Rat Ogres, said Rat Ogres will rout. Elspeth will now start working on the Skaven Slave Spears and whatever other unit of rats, clan rats, whatever, is down here, though it does look like plenty more enemies are still around, including, I believe, 2 units of Plague Monks, the first of which has begun to charge our swordsmen. Plenty of work for the swordsmen in this particular battle, sure. If they level up sufficiently, we can probably keep them and then evolve them into great swords. Not in this army. Yeah, and I just realized you can evolve swordsmen directly to great swords bypassing the halberdiers. You just gotta wait until they're level 5. Which feels more appropriate than going from sword to halberd and then back to sword, even if it is a great sword. At least to some degree. Alrighty, and what the heck, those clan rats looked like they were routing there for a second, but then decided to come back, and oh wow, looks like the rat hordes are once again going to be susceptible to the choke point tactics as we've crossed the bridge, but are now trying to fire upon them. That said, the area here is kind of choke pointing us as well, as the war wagons are in a position where they're trying to fire, but it's preventing some of our range units, like our Nuln Ironsides, still on the bridge, and our Free Company from getting too many shots off, especially since they don't have an elevation advantage to, well, take advantage of. At least not much of one. There's a bit of one on the bridge, and the units that are up there are still trying. Yeah, probably shouldn't have blocked off the Ironsides here, but they did plenty well up on top of the walls, and as soon as we clear out a few more rats here, we'll move on. And man, this has been a pretty darn long brawl of a battle so far. 17 minutes, and certainly having to work for this particular settlement, which is appropriate as it is Elspeth's debut battle. And it's always a shame if a debut battle isn't an epic one. And this also feels appropriate in the sense that I like the longer battles. Like, one of the best things about SFO, in my opinion, is the fact that it takes longer for units to kill each other. As in vanilla, things just run into each other and then just melt, and then 2 seconds later a unit is gone, etc, etc, etc. It's much less likely that you get this kind of thing going with the stalemates and the brawls, at least for a significantly long time. And I really enjoy those. Not quite to historical title levels, obviously, which have even longer brawls and don't have magics and all that, but to be fair, we don't have magics in this particular battle either, at the very least not group-killing magics. Anyway, time for the Drakewald Riders and the units of Empire Knights to make their way forward. Or attempt to make their way forward. There's a big whole press of units, a crowd crush going on here. Frankly, the units of knights charging through, or at least attempting to charge through, are probably not helping matters either. I'm actually surprised that the grenade unit isn't doing all that much here. Well, 141 kills is okay, but I mean, this is the Skaven they're fighting. This was a unit of bordermen. It would be much worse. I think the grenade launchers, they might be closer to a direct fire unit rather than the sort of lobbing type grenades that we've seen out of the bordermen. Also, they don't have any buffs here, so if we put them into an army that buffs them, that should probably increase their capabilities as well. But yeah, you see that they're not firing, and there's a big old drove of Skaven that I guarantee the bordermen would have been firing at. And obviously killing a bunch of our own troops, but you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. Anyway, the Drakewald Riders and the Empire Knights have made their way forward. Always lovely to see the Knights in their full plate towering over the Skaven. And granted, these are Lancer Knights, so we should be cycle charging them. But all good. We'll have plenty of, I mean, so darn many different types of Knights units over the course of the campaign. Man, I have so darn many army compositions. I gotta try. We'll get there. Alright. And there we go. Now that the enemy has backed off, we're getting some very nice blasts out of those units of war wagons. I wonder if they have a minimum range. It doesn't show them having one, but they weren't firing when the enemy was here. Maybe I should have backed them off further, and they would have attempted to do so. Well, live and learn. It's my first experience with this unit. I don't know if it is an actual Elector Count state troop. In fact, it isn't. It is an old world added one. So yeah, I've never seen this unit before, so well, like I said, live and learn, and next time we'll try to keep a little bit more distance between them and the enemy to get them a little bit working, but once again, they're doing okay. Anyway, going to go across one bridge with our Empire Knights. Now that the cavalry have made their way inside the enemy settlement, it's going to be a lot more iffy for the rats whether to escape us or to try to surround us. Plus, the Carmine Dragon and Elspeth can work together with the Knights to run enemies down. And if the Knights should get trapped, Elspeth can obviously, anchor them. And yeah, we're gonna put, like, I don't know, maybe 4 Drakewald Riders and Empire Knights in this particular army. Frankly, they're kind of interchangeable, which means we can rather quickly fill up this, the other army, not Elspeth's army, with a bunch more of the Empire Knights. Just gotta build them, or maybe build a bunch of Pistoliers and then, have them trained up. I do, again, I like that idea. The aspect of the Warband mod that lets you sort of start with the base version of a unit like a Pistolier and then become a Knight, and then, out of the basic units of Knights maybe be recruited by a proper order, whether it be a secular order like the Reiksguard, or whether it be one of the godly orders of Knights, or the Templars. Like the Knights of the Blazing Sun, etc, 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 etc. Anyway, looks like we've got the Plague Monks that have made their way forward. And of course Elspeth's gonna get some, well, probably Knights of the Black Rose. I do think we'll probably make a Moor themed army, which can combine Knights of Moor and Knights of the Black Rose as well. I mean, I guess we could do the same thing with Elspeth, but the thing is, we probably would want a Grand Master to lead them. Anyway, you may have been wondering where the burning head has been. Well, it's right here. Basically, I wanted to allow the army to brawl a little bit more, and yes, we could have obviously used it here while waiting through the gate, but the enemy was so blobbed up, and it would have just trivialized the battle, essentially. And I wanted Elspeth to have a proper debut. She will, I mean, let's face it, once she has her magics available to her, she's going to be a casting powerhouse, and we don't want to win every battle with just a big old piles of magic. Generally speaking, as many of you know, I'm sure by now, I prefer buffing magics to damaging magics. Mostly to let the units fight like this. Anyway, we are still working our way through this darn choke point as the enemy continues to try to hold us up, though it looks like the battle is now finally nearly in our favor. Our war wagons have crossed the bridge to join the knights, which have forced several more enemy units of clan rats off the map. And it looks like a couple more blasts. Probably once as soon as these units are out, the battle will be ours. The Grandmaster and the Captain have returned to the fray. They're both at about half of their HP, however, so we do have to be careful with them now. I mean, they're obviously not going to die, but I don't want to spend like a million years waiting for them to convalesce. Anyway, with that, it looks like most of these units are adding, but the enemy faction the battle is not yet over. Alright, well, some of our units have started to separate from each other at this point now, and wow, this is definitely the longest battle of the campaign. That said, I think it's decided, and yes, the game has also realized that it's decided, and with that, the enemy army shatters. Close victory, apparently, and the battle will be ours. Close victory most likely to the ammunition expenditure, and we have taken a fair bit of damage on some of our state troops. The swordsman that led the battle actually had to back off and be replaced with other units. We had to essentially rotate troops, which also feels appropriate, and is one of the, again, fun aspects of these longer battles. Glorious. Alrighty, there we go. A heck of a brawl with tons of kills for pretty much everybody. I was a little bit surprised by the relative lack of kills and damage. I do mean relative because they still got 326 and 20k. On the grenade launcher war wagons, it looks like they fire very, very slowly. And thus I think that's a question. We might want to put them in an army that significantly increases their reload rate. Admittedly, there is also a cap sort of on reload, and that the animations can only go so fast, but I do imagine that we can buff them a fair bit more to get them to fire a little bit faster. Good job to the Drakewald Riders in their debut. Of course, the Unknown Ironsides, 248 kills, matching the Knights in kills, but outdoing them a little bit in damage. And funnily enough, the majority of the kills went to the, ignoring the rocket battery, to the artillery and to Elspeth, ignoring both of them. Though, 841 kills and 72,000 damage is extremely solid on Elspeth, considering she doesn't have Purple Son of Zaraeus, no AoE damage spells. That was just pure dragoning things. But yeah, the infantry, the swordsmen, held off all those clan rats and the plague monks and storm vermin and whatnot, and killed plenty of them as well. Alright, we will occupy the place rather than returning it to an Elector, which we have already confederated. Occupy. Yes. I was thinking for a second whether there would be any value of reviving them here and just keeping them as an ally, but I don't think so. Anyway, crude oil surveyors, and definitely grab those. And, okay, why did I do that? Delete you. Don't collect the income for now, and then we will build stuff, so let's put you immediately into Council of Burgomeisters. Lovely. Alrighty, now Elspeth. Unfortunately, this means that for at least a couple turns, Conroy von Rokov, Imperial Pegasus. Good for whoever that is. Clan Skull destroyed. Beautiful. Province secured. Baron Hills, that's this one. And yeah, alright. Elspeth, we're gonna have to reset you. You got 2 levels out of that big fight, and that was worth, I think, the turn, I guess. So, reset all skill points. And then we'll grab a cheap lord, whoever, to command this army for now. Let's say you. Actually, wait. Esteemed is kind of meh. Is there anybody which we would want to keep potentially as an actual army at some point? Anybody that we already have but don't need to recruit? We have another armor pedigree grandmaster, although I don't want to spend the 2,000 gold right now. I think we need it for other things for our economy. Alright, just go with the esteemed guy, it's fine. It's all good.
To the provinces.
You can also lose your horse, sir. Well, let's not pay for that, and I don't think anything here will make your army any cheaper, and then, what we could do, since it's only temporary, is put a couple points into Fervent to get the corruption reduction, since you will be deleted shortly. As I'm not a huge fan of that particular trade. Yes, 20% reduction on Elector count state troops is nice, but every single Elector added is a minus 5%, so they're gonna be very cheap eventually anyway, so it's, I think, not a big deal. Now, I decided to, at least for now, make Elspeth the Elector count of Wissenland. Yes, it's a little bit odd, but anyway. I will probably, I do say probably, make this somebody else eventually, just for the missile strength for artillery, since she's not gonna have an insane amount of artillery. But, the 40% missile resistance, funnily enough, I think she can take advantage of more than any other lord except Karl, and she's on a level with Karl. Well, Volkmar as well. Basically, the big targets, and the flying barn or moving barn, whichever's, do to have a tendency to take a lot of hits in range, so I gotta be careful about those. Anyway, you are gonna grab this island as well. So, let's transfer troops, -1 pistolier, I guess. I like so. And that was you, right? Yeah, you can hold on to this pistolier. We will need one more outrider, though maybe wait for it. But anyway, grab this shipwreck real quick. Alright, come on, 8,000 gold. Explore the island, and okay, this one I think we're not going to bother fighting. It's going to hurt us, but whatever. Alrighty, and decent bit of cash, so let's see what we got out of that. Come on, 8,000 gold, at least 8,000 gold. Mechanical steed, good for you. Hey, 8,000 gold, lovely. I mean, obviously, the lost cargo or materials, let's see, would have been better, but, you know. You are still using the port to land here, right, sir? I hope so. Well, land either way, and then you can leave, and then you can enter the army. I'm just wondering how many pistoliers that we want in this particular army. You know what? Maybe I did want to get Karl a couple of noble sons abroad. Oh, these guys can now be upgraded to knights. They have earned that right. They have earned that knight.
I will marshal the band. Praise Sigmar.
Elspeth will want knights, and specifically she's going to want Knights of the Black Rose, and you guys have already earned that right as well. You have the Drakewald Riders, and we're going to want a couple more. Obviously, I'm going to hold off on spending money on getting those guys up and running right now, but I think maybe, since these guys are definitely going to be pistoliers, we'll do those.
For the Empire.
And we might want to, you know what, I just keep 3 Outriders. We might want to replace a couple of the Free Company with a couple more war wagons. I want to check another thing. Do these guys... Yes, they can fire whilst moving. I was just wondering. Because if they couldn't, then obviously it would be a bit of a different story. Although they'd probably be less damage dealing than Outriders with grenade launchers, wouldn't they? I guess it depends. I guess we'll see. Oh, wait, can you actually buff them? Yes, you can. Wissenberg's Welcomers are right there. We'll see. Frankly, these Outriders might actually... Well, that's a good question as well. So they have the suppression on their damage, which is significant for a potential run-and-gun army like this, but at the same time, the Outriders with grenade launchers would shore up the weakness of this army of being bad at killing blobs of units. So both are good options. Anyway, you can just sit there for now. Gavin. Do you have any halberdiers that we can give to Gavin right now? You do not. Alright, so I guess this army needs to move over there. I'm a little bit worried about... I wonder if More Sleep's Howlers have a stance that allows them to move here, but we also can't be wasting too much money. I gotta figure out how to best do this. You're gonna go here. At least for now. You can stick around for now as well. Alrighty, so... You are going to... Move here, and let's grab these 4 halberds. Trade out these swords. That may be too many halberds, but I will have to consider it. We gotta replace stuff in this army anyway. And there we go. These pikes will... Do you have spears? No, also pikes. We'll want a couple of Eldred's Guard in here, and maybe we should do 1 less halberd, because we'll need room for probably at least 4 Drakewald Riders. This is a Grand Master, after all. Huh. And we'll also want room for some probably Huntsmen, because it makes sense for an anti-large sort of Beastman-focused army. In fact, can you guys be upgraded to Huntsman tier 4? Alright. Wait, don't we have a Huntsman unit here? Oh no, that was this unit for reinforcing. Alright, well then that means we don't need the handguns in this army. But we don't have the space to sort of transfer them. Alright. Now these guys can be upgraded to basic spears, and these swords can be upgraded to more halberdiers, but I think we need to lose a few more of them. Who's lower rank? So these guys are all pretty good rank-wise. These guys less so. So we'll lose the pikes then. Oh, wait. You have spears, don't you? Yeah, we could trade these 2 spears then. You can side grade the swordsman, meaning the pikes, the regular pikes, are the least useful. Alright, so we'll do this. Delete these guys, and then delete these guys. Actually, no, only... delete 2. Like so. Alright, then we'll be continuing to trade next turn. That was completely necessary, guys, I assure you. Alrighty, now, Karl. You will want to attack this, and we'll need to grab more money from this. So I guess we can just give this immediately to Nordland. Or wait, I wonder how much it would... just a second. How rich is Nordland, out of curiosity? If we take a look at Pass a Stone... They'd be willing to give us 4,000 gold, so meaning we can probably get 4,000 gold from this place, although I guess the question is, do we want the fealty more? Because we probably don't have an easy way to get more fealty from these guys, because there's not a lot of other territory that is originally owned by them, unfortunately. But 4,000 gold right now is pretty big. Either way, it doesn't change the fact that we got another fight on our hands, a minor settlement battle as well, so let's see Karl and his greatswords work his way through them. Go. Alrighty, here we go. We've got another minor settlement to deal. Well, I guess Elspeth's battle was a major settlement, but another settlement battle to deal with. Unlike Elspeth's army, however, we do have a gold wizard whose spells we will use. It is in Karl's debut battle, and we're mostly fighting this to make sure that well, we're just generally fighting it because we want to, but anyway. And, ooh, big old pile of orcs trying to move down the sort of choke point in the enemy settlement. Again, I really like this red and light blue color scheme that they've got going. But anyway, the Gehenna's Golden Hands will essentially split this portion of enemies up, and it'll hopefully split a few units, and on top of that, prevent the enemy from moving forward, which means it'll, on top of the Gehennas, allow us to land a nice searing doom upon the enemy. Big old spells. And as soon as the vortex runs out, let's see what that did. We've got 204 kills and 48,000 damage. Now, you may be wondering what Karl has been doing the entire time. Well, that used to be the enemy lord, and now that Karl has Galmaraz, he hits a lot harder. And he's at 819 weapon strength, and that's before he activates the massive increase to damage from Galmaraz. And this is one of the reasons why I do think that Life Wizard is generally the best option for Karl, just because he wants those heals. I suppose we could put a second wizard in this army. I'm kind of attached to the gold wizard now, but anyway. Yeah, he likes to do his own thing, go kill off enemy lords, heroes, big old single entities, etc., 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 like he's just done to the enemy lord and the enemy mage as well. So no casting from the enemy. Now Deathclaw is going to work a little bit on the Orc Era Boys, the other big threat in this army. We should be able to hold the choke points with our great swords and with our Imperial Foot just fine. But the archers will still be firing down upon us. And regular orc archers have pretty darn decent armor-piercing missile damage. 9 armor-piercing damage on them? That's actually kind of surprising. I mean, that's Orcie's strength for you, because I'm pretty sure that's more armor-piercing damage than an Imperial crossbow does. A regular orc boy firing a bow at you pierces your armor more than a crossbow. But again, kind of in the same way that orcs can cut through Space Marine armor with their choppers, orcs are pretty darn strong. Anyway, looks like some of the enemy orc biggins are starting to make their way towards us, and the Imperial foot will meet them in the charge. The biggins may look bigger. We should keep the Empire Captain on foot. Or possibly just get 2, one on Demigriff to lead all Royal Outdorf Griffites and one on foot to lead our Imperial foot. Feels appropriate, kinda. I'll think about it. Anyway, the Warrior Priest, the Heroes, and the Imperial Foot have moved towards the Orc Biggins here, who are down by about 50% of their HP. We've also got the Zintler's Reichsguard and the Kaiserliche, and, well, just these two here for now. And while we do need to be careful with them, charging into Orc Boys and the Squig Herds, and there's probably more enemies around here, we can always move the Wizard in to support should we need to. Right now, he's hovering over our main formation, adding the bonus armor to everybody here. But he has been saving that Helm of Discord that he's holding in order to debuff the enemies as needed. And he did drop a Searing Doom, which we can still see the after effects of. And down here, Borderman will fire over the heads of some of the orcs just into the sort of fleeing enemies. Just got to be careful about knocking out too many of our own units. While it looks like our Reichsguard have definitely taken the sort of most dangerous position on the battlefield so far, and are now completely surrounded. Again, you do have to be very careful with the Reichsguard like this. They are shock cavalry, and even with the Zintler's Reichsguard being a regiment of renown, they are going to get torn apart if you're not careful. Even with their stats being pretty solid, 128 armor and 50 melee defense. We can, as I said, however, help them out. We are going to hover over them and drop that Helm of Discord. And it looks like the debuff will keep them reasonably safe. Plus a little bit of help from Gehenna's Golden Hounds, which will both damage the enemy and keep more enemies from joining the fray, allowing our knights to continue to fight. Now, bounce power has shifted to about 70% in our favor now. The Great Swords and the Imperial Foot are still holding the enemy off, though it looks like only the Imperial Foot will now be needed, and we're going to start moving the Great Swords southward, down the ramp, which just in my head meant south, but anyway. Actually, we're moving southward on the map as well, so yes, good, Ruinous, good. You did it. Anyway, gonna move them to help the Reichsguard here. Get a little bit of damage in. A little bit more damage, I guess. Although they've already cut their way through plenty of the enemy orcs as well. Very nice to see, and here come the Great Swords. And this is only their second battle, but they've already done pretty well. Again, Karl does buff them fairly significantly. Although I do want to avoid overdoing it with just spamming Great Swords and Reichsguard, like the sort of classic Karl composition. You gotta do it a little bit differently. Alrighty, well, otherwise balance power is at about, still 75, maybe closing in on 80% in our favor. This last unit of Orc Boys will probably get obliterated by the Great Swords in short order. Just got to be careful about the Reichsguard, maybe back them off. They have lost about 50% of their HP since they've started. I mean, they did get surrounded by like 5 units, but they held their ground very well, and now it's allowing the infantry, the anti-infantry to move on in. Rather than the tanky Imperial Foot, which are currently in another position on the map and are starting to move forward. Since they're not as high damage dealers as the Great Swords are, the Imperial Foot have our units of handgunners with them to help them out. You gotta admit, this color scheme on the orcs really pops, and it also works really well with the sort of Badlands lighting and, you know, this entire map sort of deal. Anyway. Looks like a few enemy units attempted to charge us, but the handgunners were able to see them off, especially with Bruckner helping out and taking the charge from the enemy. Is he heavily damaged again? Well, he's down 50% again. It does seem to be a tendency with him. But what can you do? At the very least, he is in no danger of dying, because he can always use his mass to back off. Anyway, the orcs are being chased down by the Imperial Foot and gunned down by the handgunners. And soon we'll probably start making our way across this bridge as well, together with the Great Swords and the Reiksguard to get them back in the action, or back in action once again. Karl has also landed. He's been doing his own thing for most of the battle, I will admit. And is now trying to hunt down any individual units of, or isolated units of enemy archers, arrow boys. Admittedly, wow, those are arrow boys arrows? Those look pretty darn big. That looks pretty painful. One's in Karl's neck, but I guess he's okay. Admittedly, we probably didn't even need to care about whether the units of airboys were isolated here or not, because Deathclaw could probably clear out a unit or a stack of regular boys or biggins pretty well as well. Anyway, starting to make our way across the bridge now, meaning more grenades dropped by the bordermen into the enemy units of biggins. And I think about it, if we get a Cathayan ally and enough allegiance with them, and we could also combine a few Cathayan grenade units with a grenade army for even more grenade units. And the advantage there is that Cathayan grenadiers have the Heaven's Flash ability, which is a significant debuff to enemies once you hit them. Only one use per battle, but pretty good if it's an all-ranged army that gets charged into melee. Speaking of charging, it looks like some war boys have arrived. They do take a nice volley from the bordermen, which, wow, 50% of their damage taken by a single volley from the bordermen. Again, bordermen very much not to be underestimated. And there's another one. Okay, that one was a little bit too close to our own formation. Probably dished out decent damage to our own great swords. And rather than launching too many more grenades, it's time to charge the halberdiers in to help the great swords, charging into the flanks of the enemy orc boys, arrow boys, and boar boys. And with the great swords hacking them apart from the front and the halberdiers at their flanks, the units on this side of the map are in pretty bad shape. Generally speaking, the battle is nearly ours. A unit of orc biggins has arrived where we are holding the choke point with more halberdiers, wouldn't you know it, and Imperial Foot. And surprisingly, the handguns can't fire at them here. I thought that they would be able to. Again, these guys do tower over the Imperial regular army troops, and they had a little bit of elevation too. Surprising. Not a big deal, because the halberdiers took them out just fine. Anyway, with that, the battle is ours. The last of the remaining enemy units shatter, and we're good. Fun little fight. Lots of work for the wizard, lots of work for, well, pretty much everybody. Turned out to be a pretty good battle. I'm glad we fought it. Alrighty, there we go. Another lovely brawl, though made significantly faster than Elspeth's own attack due to, well, the fact that we were willing to use magic this time around, or damaging, well, okay, Elspeth didn't have any available to her at the time, but you know what I mean. 800 kills and 137,000 damage on the Gold Wizard, primarily, of course, clearing out the enemy range units, but occasionally dropping a few spells on a couple of non-range units as well. Our Great Swords looking like they debuted pretty darn well. Well, I guess technically second battle, but you know what I mean. 15,000 and 11-ish thousand damage. Karl killed off all three enemy lords and heroes, and then annoyed a bunch of enemy archers as well, which was pretty effective of him. As for our named units, looks like we did okay on the Order of the Reich, but they were mostly there to essentially absorb the charges of the greenskins. A little bit of damage from the, well, actually always fair bit of damage from the borderman handgunners, and I'm pretty happy with that. Zintler's Reiksguard, or Zintler's Reiksguard, went with 21,000 damage, and 19. Solid work out of the Kaiserliche Reitergarde. Apparently this is pronounced Kaiserliche rather than Kaiserlich. if I'm saying that correctly this time. Keep in mind, I do reserve the right to butcher all languages. Corn cares not from whence the blood flows, people. But in all seriousness, I appreciate it. Do correct me, please. I promise I won't get mad. It's the only way I'll learn. Even better if you guys tell me what stuff actually means and not just the names, and not just the names that you come up with as well. I'm really tempted about to... Yeah, fine, return to the Elector. Was really tempted to get that 4K, but whatever. Not just the names, but also names of, like, towns and stuff. Obviously, well, it's not a perfect analog, obviously. Reichspiel isn't German any more than High Gothic is Latin, but there are some sort of... funny names. I mean, a lot of the names in the towns and the heroes and stuff are just sort of jokes and references and stuff like that. And I love to hear about those. Certainly had a lot of comments over the years and different campaigns, and I learned about some really fun ones recently with the lizards, for example. But anyway, ally mission successful. Nordland, I don't really care about that. I suppose we could borrow some of the allied armies, so we could probably keep taking missions and just for that particular purpose. And though it isn't a big deal. Scalpic, I guess we'll kill you. Oh wow, these guys have 3 armies now. Okay, we really need to nip this in the bud. There are way too many of these little armies from this rogue faction army running around. Well, I guess we can send... I mean, they're not beastmen, but we can send one of these armies to deal with them, or this army possibly. Oh, right. Actually, that reminds me. You also have troops that need to be swapped. Good lord. Yeah, this is costing us a lot of cash.
To the provinces.
But we're getting there. Next turn, the major swaps will be happening. In fact, maybe you should go to Torpin and get a little bit closer. And maybe you as well. I don't know, I was thinking maybe we get these Pistoliers to Karl and then give him the Noble Sons Abroad later. Just for a little bit of a difference to his army, A, but B, also because this, again, will be double dipping on any units that have both range and weapon strength, so, and it's certainly something to think about. Anyway, Honest Steel, definitely upgrades for the Great Swords and the Teutogan Guard. A rally, and we don't really have any rank 7s as yet, but the Reichsguard will reach it faster than anybody, so we are going to go for Taste of... So, actually the Imperial Foot aren't there. Oh, wait. Are Reichsguard there? Let me just check. No, the Reichsguard are there. Okay, so in this particular instance, they are not. Okay, but either way, we're going to go with Taste of Battle because these guys aren't rank 7 and these guys are. Simple as that. Taste for Battle. Alrighty, at least this will still buff the Royal Altdorf Griffites, which I feel like we probably will put into Karl's army. Even if we do end up taking Bruckner out and putting him in Elspeth's stack. But anyway, you can channel, and then Karl and Co. here will go northward through Stedham towards Arnau. We got to get the Old North Road, or the entirety of the province that once belonged to Westerland. Now the Wasteland. Anyway, let's see, Stedham. How much does this cost now? 2,000 gold. Yeah, we should probably upgrade it immediately. Alright, actually speaking of, let's move the heroes and then we gotta do some building. Absolutely critical right now. Wolfheart Scout, you are going to go through the water, so get ready to move. I mean, would it be faster? No, just go through land. You'll get there eventually. Volkmar Scout, you are in the same position. Go down here. You can identify some greenskins, unfortunately, which might mean they start, making their way northward, depending on how well Mr. I don't know who's the leader of Bugman's faction, but how well they do, essentially. Governors, you haven't appeared... Okay, no, they haven't leveled.
Yes, my lord.
And I believe that's it. Alright, beautiful. And next up, we got building. Alright, so anything that will make us an immediate amount of money. Like these places. Expensive though they may be. Reikwald Forest. Ooh, you definitely need to switch to Council of Burgomeisters for next turn. I guess we'll still want to save the cash. Yeah, that's fine. Actually, I just thought of something. These things, common temples, this would probably be a decent time to start building these in a bunch of places. They will take 4 turns. They will have the all regions in the province. Okay, wait, we'll give this a look in a second. You are okay, right, Karlberg? You will be upgrading one of these next turn, and we'll be getting more money, hopefully, so we'll leave you as you are. Stedham, we will leave you as you are as well, because we can do nothing about it. Altstad. Okay, so... Iron mining pit for obvious reasons, and I guess we should at least get the Black Rose chapter house immediately because we'll want to upgrade the next level before the materials at sea runs out. This... we should still get it. I want steam tanks as fast as nullingly possible. Imperial Harbor, Saltworks, and Clothier. I note, however, that we don't have a public order building here, so we'll build one at least temporarily at Taproom in Dotternbach, and then we will... probably shifted to Wissenberg. We shall see. You, Eilhart. Oh, okay. Well, it's never going to get cheaper to upgrade it, so switch to cancel Burgomeisters. Grunberg, you... switch to cancel Burgomeisters now. Alright, this place is fine. Keep collecting money. You keep collecting money, even if you start going negative next turn and due to the lack of the control bonuses. What we... Ooh, we will also never get this being any cheaper. This was the ideal time to upgrade Helmgard. Beautiful. Alrighty. Next up, will any of these places generate enough money for us to... or for it to be worth it to us to start collecting income? Well, you might as well start upgrading the chapter house, or the town at Glimdworo. You can go for the tap room, but it's not going to be a place that collects money right now, so it's not super critical right now, so we can leave it at that. Torpin, however, will... And, oh, you know what? Get the hunting camp first, because the trade goods might be more valuable. And go for the weaving house. Oh, actually, you know what? We could do this next turn and upgrade you at the same time, so let's switch you to cancel the Burgomeisters, I guess. Alrighty, but don't collect the income. You, Ubersreich, can get us another 200 gold per turn right now. And then next turn you'll go -8, which is iffy for 200 gold per turn. So I'm going to say no. We will, however, build a town here, and this town here as well at Dukelberg, and we're going to go for the basic walls. Got to get those up and running for Ulrika. Passive Stone. You're going to have walls as well, but that makes sense. You... I mean, we could at least start building the iron and the other stuff. Reasonably cheap. Yeah, go for it. Alrighty, and I believe that's it. Unfortunately, none of these... Ah, wait a second. Middenheim Road. You would make us 450 gold per turn, but you'll be super negative next turn, so I think we'll have to forego it. There we go. Didn't quite bankrupt ourselves, but looking pretty okay. Western Provinces. How you doing? You were at war with... Ah, damn, we're already at war with everybody that you were at war with. I was wondering whether we could get an alliance by declaring wars like Rictus, Drippenfangs, House of Korak. Just out of curiosity, because this faction is going to get wiped out. We can get 1.5k and then you. Yeah, we'll take the 3k. Well, it'll weaken them, and we don't really care about these factions. We're perfectly happy to declare war upon them for money. And this is certainly time to take advantage of some of the Diplo with factions that are super far away from us. Maybe Drippenfangs as well. Well, the Drippenfangs might actually be able to cross over the mountains to the Empire. It's a possibility. I've seen the AI do such things before. How much money for the Drippenfangs? We can wait on that one. Alright, anybody else who's rather far from us so that we can get a little bit of extra cash for? Bordlow Aaron, I mean, we could make some use of the Bretonnian factions for that particular purpose. But I don't think there's anybody to... Yeah, no, it's not gonna... I can't see anybody anyway. Where is Spittle again? I don't remember. Okay, I guess it doesn't really matter right now. Anyway, that gives a little bit more cash, and we are definitely still wanting to spend it. Any money making... Ah, well, you know what? Maybe we save it for next turn. We'll only gain 1,000 gold, so this place will all need upgrades for, well, more money. I do assume that we've constructed all of the landmarks that we are capable of doing right now, right? And upgraded them. Karlberg, you are being upgraded currently. You're good. How long until Karl gets his Karlberg Greatswords Legendary unit? Okay, 2 turns. This place is okay. Just double checking. It's a very critical time of the campaign. Alright, but I think we're okay. Now we should also try to build those roads everywhere. Alright, anyway, skip, and outpost available probably with one of the Imperial factions, which means we can by and large ignore them for now. Alright, end turn. Alright, what do we have here? The gods are angry, the omens are ill. Something you have done has angered the gods, yet they are fickle. They may forgive you in time, or more immediate appeasement might be necessary. So, yes, obviously tribute for the control plus for all provinces, since we no longer have the counteracting confederation buff. Oh yeah, no negative control, screw that. A tribute. Alright, there we go. And now we have a bit of an issue. Looks like these guys are moving our way now, huh? Yeah, there's 3 of them running around, and we might actually have to get Karl down here. I suppose he would probably want to go through the Nemesis Crown dig site anyway. Does the Gotrek and Felix quest... I didn't mean to click over there. Does the Gotrek and Felix quest give us any money? 3,000, eh? Oh, but it does give us the... Okay, no, we have to save this for the next Confederation, so we can't do this until the next one, which will probably be relatively soon, but we gotta pay attention to that. Alright, fine, Karl, while I'd love to get you to fight the Dark Elves, and you are fairly close, you'll be needed down here anyway. Can we intercept these guys in time, I guess is the question. But it's a big question. I guess we'll find out. Anyway, you guys, let's see if we can do this properly.
By the comet. Yes.
Okay, we need to leave. Why are you suffering attrition here? Okay. You get away. You're bothering me.
Praise Sigmar.
Who needs what? So, Gavin von Wolfen, you will... How close? Okay, we got 9 turns until the next Drakewald Riders. Oh, we can get another Wissenberger's Welcomers immediately. You... Alright, Dolph Hertwigens. I was going to give you a couple of those guys, so we'll lose a couple of your Free Company militia, I guess.
I will continue my studies.
Like so. The ones with the lower ranks. Now it feels like not enough Free Company. I'll think about it. We can always replace a couple of the other units with some Nordland Mariners. You are going to pop the Wissenberg's Welcomers in here, and then you are going to do the same right here. Yes, everybody's in march stance and away, but we need to swap those units. Alright. Frankly, there's a decent likelihood that we get some of those for Elspeth anyway, but it doesn't necessarily have to be right now. Anyway, and Dolph, you have 19 out of 20 troops. What are you missing? We could get you a warrior priest or a captain, or... Oh, right, I was originally going to get you another outrider. Another hero. Oh, you need an engineer as well, don't you? Huh, wait, actually, just out of curiosity, the regular engineers, can they use the mechanical mount? Because if you're not able to run and gun, it would be pointless. Yes, they can. Alright. Almost tempted to transfer you, but we're okay. You're gonna go this way then, Dolph. Where is Malagor? Okay, so he's running around Hawkland right now. We'll still need to send our Drakewalder anti-Beastmen army up there. What I would like you to do then... Do we have any spare crossbows? I assume that these guys can't be downgraded. No, they cannot, but that's fine. They've got their own army to be part of. What we will do is upgrade you to... And then we'll take you. Alright, let's do those. Go here. Should put you into march stance, but whatever. We will take the handgunners out of this army. Take these 2 spears. I'll lose these 2 halberds. Is that too few halberds? Lose 1 halberd. And grab this crossbow. There we go. With that, we'll have 5 huntsmen. In fact, you... Okay, one of you will be able to be upgraded immediately. And these 2 will become Eldred's Guard. I don't remember... Okay, what's the aura size on them, just out of curiosity? I mean, they will be replaced by Eldred's Guard, I should say, but it'll be a bit, so... Eventually. There's the anti-large, defender, fast attacks, etc., etc. It's the aura I'm concerned about. It's a 14-meter aura, meaning we actually need 3 rather than 2. Because the aura is very short and we can only... Okay, fine. Who has still a pike remaining? Are you able to march stance now? Yes. Do you have a pike? Yes, alright. So you can transfer 1 pike to Gavin. Like so. Right, there we go. Now, the rest of your army will need 1 warrior priest, possibly another Empire captain, and then whatever space we need to make will be filled with Drakewald riders. Alrighty, now you are good to go, or at least good to go-ish. Minus the warrior priest, but we're gonna have to figure out where to get you. Also, are you able to become a spear immediately? You are. It's only 200 gold, just do it. I feel like I'm gonna regret that immediately, but anyway, you're gonna go this way as well. Alright, now, Elspeth's army. And the rest of these guys. Elspeth and the rest. Okay, first of all, Wulfric Ergiger, you have Dwarfen Plate Armor, so you're actually decent lord. You are useless, however, so we're gonna pop your stuff into this army, and then we're gonna delete you or reset you. We can still use you as a recruiter if we need to, but there's nothing that we want to recruit right now, and we certainly don't want to pay for you, so we'll delete you. Alright. A little bit less money being wasted. You two both have mages, yes? Yes, because you're two armies that are effectively ready to go, minus the missing couple of units. Would we be able to build another warrior priest? We would be. I don't dislike that guardian one. Just because it has guardian, but we're not... Well, actually, they're not that expensive, so we might be able to do it in a second. Now, we need to figure out what Elspeth is going to use. First of all, this is probably too many war wagons, at least for now, so... Hey, how did we end up with this many pistoliers? Oh, right. Alright, so lose one of the war wagons, keep both artillery pieces, lose the free company and the halberds and those guys, but take handgunners. You...
To battle.
You know what? Take the pistoliers as well. We can upgrade them to knights, because that's literally what you're supposed to do. So, let's do 3 pistoliers to you. They'll become knights of the Black... Oh, did I not trade you the knight either? We have a knight here as well. Oh. Okay, wait. No, this is so confusing. Alright, no, you're good. Okay, so these guys need to be upgraded to iron sides. We have the 3 pistoliers, which will become knights. We'll need more artillery, and otherwise we're actually pretty okay. Just need some mortars and stuff. Is 5 sufficient, perhaps? I think maybe 5 is sufficient, depending on if we keep the war wagons and how many artillery pieces and heroes and whatnot that we have in there. Yeah, alrighty. That'll be Elspeth's army for now. You know what, Elspeth, the Free Company militia can essentially fill the slots until you're ready for whatever else is needed, so let's give you those for now. Mostly because I like them, let's give you 4. Then you guys... You can have the... Well, the swords are reasonably high ranked, so we'll delete maybe the lower ranked. So, yeah, delete the pikes. And then take this. -1 unit. Okay. I want to keep the handguns. Get rid of one of the swords. Like so. Alright, these guys can be deleted. So we don't have to pay for them right now. There we go. Nearly done, guys, I promise. Elspeth, maybe we'll send you after Malagor to get his defeat trait, because there's no guarantee that this guy is able to hunt him down. We need somebody to grab his territory as well, so maybe that's the way to do it. So you, Emil von Corden, who will become Elspeth shortly, will be good. You're the guy with Dwarfen Plate Armor. What do you have? You have defensive. Ah, yes. Oh, right. And I wanted to keep you for that reward for the materials at sea. But what your trait does is give 5 melee defense to basic units, like swordsmen and stuff. Not ideal for Wolfkin or Flagellants, because they prefer the additional armor rather than what we have here. So, swords, halberds, great... Oh, this also buffs great swords. Actually, this would be a good army for great swords, meaning we can keep the swordsmen in your army as they are. I don't think we need this extra halberd, though I maybe should have given this guy an extra one, but it's all good. Then fine, get rid of this extra halberd. You have an additional... Pistolier, which I think you're not in need of. Alright, but anyway, what I would like you to do for now is go this way. And I would like you to follow an army. Maybe follow this army because it becomes Elspeth, though eventually you'll get your own. Then just delete XP. You're gonna go this way and start scouting, and these guys will be dealt with. There we go. Alright, no more of that. I know it took a while, but again, as always, it's kind of necessary. Hopefully, if they're able to deal with that, then Karl can push this way. This was why I really wanted to do that, so that we can actually get to fighting those Dark Elves. And you can obviously follow Karl. Like so. Lovely. Alright, we got a little bit of money to spend, and spend it we shall, at least on anything that will hopefully increase the cash that we're generating. We've got the Tailors Guilds here. 1750 still crazy expensive. Oh, you know what? There was another province, this one. 1,000. Yeah, that's a pretty darn big difference. Let's do those. Let's also upgrade the tannery here, and that's about all we can do. Alright, fair enough. We are still losing some public order in a few places, but it's not that horrible. 4 more turns of materials, let's see. Anything interesting money generation-wise we could potentially get out of this? Doesn't look like it, doesn't look like it. And Hockland really wants that military alliance. How much money will you give us for it? Do it. Definitely worth it right now. And House of... Oh, they're immediately willing to peace out. Yes, sure, give us the money. That worked out well. And you guys are willing to give us 1,000 gold to peace out. Western provinces won't like it, but we can immediately redeclare war on them in a mere 10 turns. So I think that's not a horrible thing. Certainly an argument to be made for declaring war on a couple of more factions, and I'll try to find some later. Anyway, that gave us another little bit of cash, and we will definitely want to still put it to good use. Grunberg, you will... I mean, it's pretty cheap. Let's upgrade you. And we got 1 turn until we can upgrade the settlement. Bogenhafen, we can go for the town, I think. Mostly just because I want the Vintner to be upgraded. Wissenland, you will definitely want to upgrade... Do we save it? For Dotternbach? Nah, screw it, just upgrade it. Just upgrade it, it's fine. Nuln, yes to Halbensil being upgraded. Old North Road. You're fine for now. What do we have as options here? Alright, I wanted to build one of these, but it's no longer an option, though we should try to build as many of these as we possibly can. Due to the adjacency bonuses. Oh, we do want to build the paved roads here. Oh, did I cancel that earlier? My bad. I was supposed to rebuild that, but then I did not. Alright. And I believe that's good. We're not going to bother upgrading the Firearms Academy, though I would like to see a couple of things. We should be able to build engineers, should we not? Or actually, no, we don't have the Tier 3 yet on the gunnery building, which is here in Fort Solace. Alright, we'll get up there shortly. We need more engineers, terribly, since our engineer armies are about to get underway. And then this army... Wait, no, that's Elspeth's army. This army will actually split off into 2 armies, but for now it can actually function as a fairly decent one on its own, so that's fine. Alright, good. Skip, skip, skip. Let's get to more fighting. Alright, as I suspected, these guys are going to try to move towards Kutenholz, which is why I wanted you to move over there. I would like you to... Oh, okay, fine. Go into March Stance and go right here. I don't imagine this guy can catch up to you. The Karlberg Great Swords are now ready to go. Now you just have to go and reach Karl somehow. I wonder if it would be faster to go out to sea. Possibly very slightly faster, but also possibly not. Well, you got a long way to travel, sir. Go find Karl. It's good. And a free caravan. Huh, I wonder whose caravan that was. Ready for duty? A new plague among us. Nurgle Corruption 5. Okay, well that's annoying, but not something we have to be concerned with. I want to double check what the Grand Cathay factions are. Have we spotted the one that's near Volkmar? We have not, unfortunately. Oh well, what can you do? Huh, these guys don't like us for the treaties with them. Fair enough. Alrighty, let's move the scouts. Wolfheart Scout, you are reaching the water. Soon you will find Wolfheart. You should be able to find Gelt within the next couple of turns, so maybe we actually save the prestige to Confederate Gelt early? It'd be nice to get him on the field, get those legendary lords up and running, and who knows, we might be able to still do one of his quests, depending on how well or poorly he has been doing. 1 turn until Elspeth's back. Good. Okay, I just wanted to check if a hero is wounded, if that does something that isn't great for us now. You know what, I guess temporarily are going to join this army, so move this way. Alright, there's a big old pile of rebels here, but we should be able to deal with them just fine. Adolf Hertwigens, you can... actually, what's the best way to do this? Assuming that... Okay, Malagor's here and... Oh, that's Clan Creepus. I was wondering where they were. Alright, fine. Gavin, I would like you to move southward. You need to knock out Malagor's main territory. You, Emil von Corden... You're the one that's going to become Elspeth. Dolph should land at Schoppendorf, but maybe we wait the turn. You go here. And then I guess we'll move Elspeth to Volgan.
We march.
Like so. And then obviously you're following Elspeth. And then we'll see how these guys react. Oh, for the love of... They moved the other army up here. And I just started moving Karl away. Okay, yeah, we need to get over there ASAP. Fortunately, this army is here to help. I'm almost tempted to... Well, you're going to set for attrition if we do. Alright, so go to the edge of this territory and see how you can get there. What do we have here? Flagellants, Peasant, Long Spears, Nasty Skulkers, Forsaken. This is a really bizarre set of armies that we got here. And, oh, Karlberg's going to take a little bit of damage. Anyway, Karl, you've already decided you are set on a course, so you're going to continue northward. Yeah, just march stands over there. I don't think that these guys would be crazy enough to attack us immediately, and if they are, well, then we'll just suffer for it. You can follow along as well. Alright. Anybody else need to move, or do we just got building, and potential... Okay, governors don't need to move, and they probably will not have leveled up enough. No, okay, we just got building. Let's see if we got any more money makers available to us. 3 turns of materials at sea left. Marienburg, yes, I would like to upgrade these. Well, we'll start at least with the harbor. These are super expensive in Marienburg due to the construction cost increase of... I guess it's not... Oh, yes, construction cost increase of the unpleasant climate. And we have a massive decrease to income in the place as well, but it is still a useful place, so it is what it is. Build the harbor, I guess? Although, let me just see here. If there's more clothiers, that probably has to take priority. Alright, this is the place where we could potentially build a couple of the common temples. Or Old North Road is frankly also a decent option for that, and we'll wait on it for a turn. Wissenberg, yes, we will want to upgrade the Tailors Guild here. Alright, Nuln is good, at least for now. Eilhart, we could upgrade you. Yeah, 1.6k is pretty worth it. And Kemperbad, yes to you as well. Alright, I believe that's all the money that we've got for building upgrades, assuming that... Oh, we could build a petroleum. Yeah, build a petroleum. And we will want the public order here, but we just can't afford it right now. Glyndor, you're also kind of useful, but not critical. Probably another military province that we're going to have there. Oh, actually, what we could do with you is build... Oh, when you're tier 3. Never mind. We will build it eventually. Torpen. Yes to the hunting camp, and... Oh, we have to choose between the hunting camp and the village, eh? Well, I guess we'll do the village after. You can do the weaving house as well. And eventually start collecting income. Beautiful. Alright, the rest of that looks good. Paravon, Ziflin, all that, no new trade agreements, nothing critical. Ostland. Military alliance gives us 2,000 gold. They might attack somebody, but it is what it is. I would rather have the money.
Of course.
Alright, Lorelorn, you're fine, at least until you're willing to pay us a little bit more. Alright, then give us a tiny bit more cash. And that means we can actually upgrade Torpen. Alright, beautiful. Let's skip and end the turn. Just want to double check. Aha, there's another island here. And we gotta sort of do a little bit of a drive-by, go over there and get it. And we have to intercept you. Are you able to take Brockel? Actually, you probably are, but most likely he's going for Delberts, which means we shouldn't upgrade it. I guess we can upgrade this at Brockel then. I don't believe you can reach it before they can. At least it's unlikely. But I guess we'll see. Anyway, skip, and end the turn. Alright, not the money. We'll waste prestige on this. Peter Haldenstadt, of Westerland, sends you an invitation to be his personal guest at their annual Wurstfest, an annual harvest time festival in which citizens all across the Empire feast and toast the gods, their land, the Empire, and the ancestors. It is a grand gesture for a head of state to extend such an invite to another, so naturally you accept. On the day of the Wurstfest, you are called away to lead an army against a minor uprising. The scuffle did not ultimately need your personal attention, but insurrection is exactly the type of situation you are compelled to deal with in person. Due to this, you do not take your place at Peter Haldenstadt's table. Peter Haldenstadt is greatly insulted by this. Appeasing him may take more than a mere fruit hamper. Arrange honorary banquet. It's a really big fruit hamper. Alright, there we go. And South Bank, yeah, another caravan arrived, and I wonder which... Oh, Feastmaster has been destroyed. Who killed them? Oh, Averland. Well done. Wow. You're doing a good job. I wanted to grab the moot and the moot for ourselves. The breadbasket of the Empire, yes. Alrighty, well, we'll get there eventually. In fact, Elspeth's now ready for duty, and she's going to prepare to be fighting the vampire counts down there, and probably the Tomb Kings as well. Cool as it would be to ally with them, I don't think we can. Oh, free Van Horstman's Speculum as well, from getting the decent bit of money. There we go. Alrighty, Steel Standard will be definitely useful. And we need to deal with this. Alright, so these guys are clearly heading to Delbert's, and we can't do too much about that. Adolf, you should be able to land at Allenhof. And... we're actually going to need to give this guy back some territory to get the allegiance with him, or fealty. So unfortunately, you're probably going to suffer attrition after you fight this out. Okay, I guess it's a minor battle, but I guess it's sort of a debut for you, so we're going to fight it in a bit. You guys, what you could do is land at Schoppendorf and colonize it, but it's going to cost a lot of money, so I think right now it's not worth it. Are you able to attack these two? You are not. Alright, so what I would like you to do instead, and try to do at least, is go right here. I don't think they're going to go to Brockel, but they would try to go to Kupenholz, and that would be not great. But anyway, you're going to go up here. Karl. What do these guys have in terms of stacks? Ooh, they got Sisters of Slaughter, and they've got solid ranks on their stuff as well. Alrighty, you. Currently at war with Nordland and Lorelorn. Lorelorn, how much money would you give us for this? Join war against Corsairs of Spite, 655. What about Nordland? Join war against Corsairs of Spite. 1700, much better. Alright, we will join your war. Like so. We will... Okay, actually, while we're double checking, let's see if there's anything interesting here. Trade agreement available, yes. Bordelo Errant, that's more money per turn. Ooh, actually, no, we'll start with Carcassonne, because we don't have as good of a relationship with them as we currently do with Bordelo Errant. You're also fighting Ramateb Dynasty, which is actually fairly far from us. Join war against Ramateb Dynasty. Barely worth it. Then no. Wait, did I just do a trade? Wait. Oh, that wasn't trade, that was military access. That's fine. Not more money. But then I guess that does mean we can easily do the same thing with Bordelo Errant, so there is a good part about that. Alrighty, Bugmans wants a military alliance, and ooh, yes, defensive alliance with the Great Orthodoxy. That's a definite yes. Big old pile of vision. And maybe that'll allow us to see a few more factions that want to be friends, like Karak Kadrin, for example. Like so. Draka's really gonna hate us because we're allying with all of her enemies. And I imagine, I thought that the Ice Court would immediately want to be friends, but that's not the case. Morsleep's Howler is now on to peace, but we can't do it. Much as I'd love to take the 2k from them, it's never a good idea to do that with Beastmen or with the rogue armies. You're gonna head to R now. What do we have in terms of defenses here? That's actually a fairly decent stack, which means we're probably going to have to manually fight it in order to avoid casualties, because these guys will immediately most likely react to us. They have Black Ark support as well. Unfortunately, that probably means we can't reinforce with Waldemar, because what'll happen is then these guys will immediately try to rush him. Although I suppose what we could do is we could reinforce here to leech the XP and then back him off. So that's another thing. Anyway, you guys, okay, you're gonna fight this in a second. Gavin, I would like you to proceed down towards Asino and take out the trash, i.e. Malagor. Okay, I am a little bit concerned by the fact that we can no longer see Malagor. He was here before. Hopefully you don't immediately get attacked and killed. It would be unfortunate. Okay, you have Emperor's Finest, and ooh. So you're going with Drakwald Riders, so we're gonna do Knights of the Empire. And this is upkeep reduction. Oh, I guess we could test this. A 47 melee attack and 313 upkeep. 47 melee attack and 313 upgrade. Yep, unfortunately it looks like Empire Knights doesn't work for those guys. They haven't been added to this because there's thus no way to buff them. At least we can still buff them with Speed of Horse. I guess what we could do is just put a couple of regular Empire Knights in here as well with the Drakwald Riders. Just call them Drakwald Riders anyway. Alrighty. Well, that's good. We have... most of the important stuff. Let's get Root Marcher then, and we will get Eminent Grand Master. Little power up for those cav units. I might as well get this. Alright, so I guess we can get the extra pistoliers to pop into your army. You're gonna join this army to help out you guys.
Praise Sigmar.
Okay, or you rather. Emil von Corden, you will be replaced for now by Elspeth. Like so.
Elspeth.
There we go. And that should save a little bit of money as the gunnery units become cheaper. Elspeth. So, unsettling radiance, battle healing cap reduction for the enemy, control -2 for enemy army. We will also want to grab the Graveyard Rose to give you regeneration and casualty or punishment. And frankly, plus 100% battle healing cap is super worth it. Passive ability, Living Darkness, gives you 10% physical resistance and magic weapon negation for whoever you fight. Very nice. Upkeep reduction for gunnery. Yes, and the hero capacity +4 for engineers. Absolutely magnificent. And then get Magisterics of the Amethyst Order for the massive reduction to the Purple Sun. That said, we do need to actually get the Purple Sun, so we will start moving through to it. And because it's a big portion of what makes Elspeth strong, in that she can cast it super cheaply. Soulblight is a fantastic spell, so we will be casting that a lot. As for Aspect of the Dread Knight versus Doom and Darkness, I don't particularly care for either of these spells, but the occasional Doom and Darkness can help cause an immediate rout on a bunch of enemies, if needed. Though Aspect of the Dread Knight is super cheap. I mean, frankly, most likely we'll get both, but anyway, let's do Doom and Darkness for now, Evasion, and then Purple Sun. There we go. We got 5 points left over. You will definitely want to get Pistol Core because you're fairly ranged heavy. And then obviously buff the Knights of the Black Rose. So Pistol Core 1, 2... I should also probably get Blessed by Shyish. Yeah, let's get Blessed by Shyish as well. And there we go, now she can cast it really cheaply. And then you, Engineer, need to move through Master of Ballistics and... Am I crazy, or do you... Mercurial Shot... Black Powder Discipline? No. Triangulation is the thing that we want. We also want this, and, well, you know what? Start with All-Terrain Vehicle, actually. And just for these guys. That'll help the artillery a little bit as well. Anyway, let us do a tiny little fight with these guys first, and just quickly. And just to see how the army performs. It's not much of an army, but it's a debut, so... I forgot to level you up. My bad. Alrighty. I got too excited. You have been saving for this. Cartography, ballistics calibration, yeah, we really needed that. Repair and maintain and stockpile, and then lastly, ballistics and structure, which gives everybody in the army additional range. Really going to be helpful. And obviously the ballistics calibration, additional range, accuracy, and reload, all quite nice. You have Pistol Core already. Are War Wagons and Outriders both part of this? War Wagons are here, Outriders are there. Oh, so basically only the Mortar War Wagons... If we were to want artillery... Oh, actually, Mighty Forge also buffs these guys as well. Alright, fine, Mighty Forge it is then. Or at least start moving through Mighty Forge. We should also grab Endless Tinkerer. You, Fire Mage. You're gonna get Fireball and max out Flaming Sword of Ruin, Cascading Fire Cloak, Kindle... Well, I should at least get 1 point in Burning Head. And then max out Flaming Sword of Ruin. Why? The same reason I put them in this army. It increases base missile damage to units in the area. You, Grim Resolve to get the enemy, or immunity to psychology in area, which will help as taking a charge with those Porphyry Company is iffy. And then you can have... Frankly, well, I guess we'll get Elusive first, but this guy's gonna need speed because it's a run and gun army. Anyway, all in half. Should be a quick little fight go.
Warriors of the Empire, and with my fearless knowledge, our victory is certain.
Alrighty, here we go. I've been very excited about this army, and its first iteration is now going to get its debut. So we have our 4 Pistoliers and our 3 units of Outriders, which have deployed at the front of the enemy army, because obviously they are Vanguard deployable. We've got the units of War Wagons, all 4 of them, moving in behind them, and then the units of Free Company Militia, which unfortunately don't have Vanguard deployment. I wonder if we can get them Vanguard deployment here as well. Anyway, War Wagons wagons and such are moving on in, grenades being launched the enemy's way, and handguns being fired, and most of these units, with the exception of the Outriders, can fire in all directions, including the Free Company, the War Wagons, and the Pistoliers, which means we can back off and fire as we do. Sad you can't do it with the Outriders, but I mean, it does make sense. How are you going to fire a... how is a full unit going to fire a gun backwards easily like that? That's all good though, because they're super fast with 90 speed and can reposition themselves quite well. And there we go, looks like some doggos are going to charge us. We're going to try, well, we're going to try. We're going to get them down as best we can and slow them down so that we can hit them harder. Going to also pop off a Flaming Sword of Ruin to significantly buff the missile strength of everybody. Though I do note the Flaming Sword of Ruin appears to... And it's a ground-based spell, meaning that, well, I did use it on the ground. I wonder if it'll follow a unit or not. Because if it doesn't follow a unit, that might mean it's not so good a fit for this army, and we might want to switch to a different mage type. We shall see. Anyway, Doggo's still giving chase to us, and we're going to try to focus them down as best we can. Fortunately, they're super fragile and will melt away rather quickly while we continue to back off and fire with the rest of our units. The Pistoliers continue to run around, ride around on the enemy's flanks, just firing into said flanks or rear, while the War Wagons stick together with the Free Company. There we go. And are working pretty nicely together with them. I should try to keep in mind that we should probably keep the War Wagons behind the lines of Free Company so that they don't block their shots, though it is working pretty darn well so far. And the grenades look to be doing work. Lovely. Alright, I love these types of armies, they're just so fun. Anyway, looks like the balance power has shifted to about 90% in our favor. We've done plenty decent damage to the enemy. The dogs are all out, and I believe 2 of the units of Marauders have routed, and a few more are about to join. They are attempting to catch our Pistoliers and our Outriders and whatnot, but in vain as we move faster than they do. And this army is too small and essentially to corral us and actually catch us. A unit of Marauders of Slaanesh with Hell Scourges will rout. A unit of Berserkers will rout as well. Tzeentch Spears moving towards us. But probably not for long, and we'll get slowed further with our unit of Outriders. Gotta try to remember to get the more sort of slow down items in this army. I wonder if we can get a Frostbite. I don't remember. Do Warslets have Frostbite on their range attacks or only on... I gotta double check. No, they have Bonebreaker on their melee attacks. I don't remember if they... No, they have Shieldbreaker on their range attacks, not Frostbite. Anyway, either way, that's all aside for later sort of iterations of this army, and by iterations I mean when we upgrade it, etc, etc, etc. Anyway, with that, the enemy army shatters. The enemy lord has long been sniped by the War Wagons handguns, as that is something they are very, very good at. And another thing that this army is going to be very good at is making sure that any enemy units that rout and shatter are chased down and destroyed, as our entire army is essentially capable of chasing and firing whilst moving. A lovely work, though granted we didn't need to do it here because it's a settlement battle, but nonetheless. Alright, there we go. Very nice little battle for our first sort of a run-and-gun army, and very minimal losses at about 33. Granted, it wasn't against the full stack, but it's just a debut fight, so it's fine. Outriders and Pistoliers both did roughly even with each other, 23k and 19k on the Grenadier War Wagons, and yeah, they're doing a little bit better in this army. Lovely. Not as much damage on the Free Company, but, well, they will become stronger over time with various buffs and such, and a couple of them at least will be replaced by Nordland Mariners. Man, it's definitely one of those armies where it makes me feel like 20 troops is just not enough, because I'd love to get a steam tank in here, maybe an Outrider or two with grenade launchers, etc, etc. Land ships also would work very nicely with all of this, but we shall see. It's pretty darn fun to play in its current state, I got to admit. And we do need the engineer as well to buff it up fairly significantly, most likely 2 engineers because, you know, against full stacks and all that. Still, a really lovely time. Anyway, we're going to occupy the place. Right, we need the allegiance, meaning you'll suffer attrition, but you're unhurt, so I guess we're just going to deal with it. Alright. You can take Allenhof. And yeah, we'll suffer attrition. It's a little bit unfortunate. It's too bad that return to Elector doesn't make you immediately immune to the... Okay, we don't need that sort of swift slang. In fact, sort of swift slang. Okay, wow, right, we got some items now. Lovely. Okay, I like the Swords of Battle, so we'll keep those. I don't like the Sword of Swift Slang. I do like the Asp Bow. In fact, you can maybe hold on to it for now. A little bit of poison damage. Scepter of Stability is actually okay on the Wizards, at least until we have something better. I don't really care for the Spotter Spyglass, but Ambush Defense Chance, and you know what, maybe you can have the Spotter Spyglass for now. Forest Spotting could be helpful in this particular army in case we get charged or something by somebody, you know? Earthing Rod, I don't care about the Earthing Rod as much. Alright, well, either way, Wizards, let's do you. You can get the Scepter of Stability for now, again, until we have something better, and then we should have another Wizard somewhere. Okay, Elspeth has the Trickster's Shard. Okay, I guess we'll do you. Wait. I lied. We should also have a Wizard on you. It's about time. I do tend to leave these off a little bit, for a little bit too long, perhaps. Ooh, you can also maybe have these Sword of Battle, because you're going to be a fighty wizard relatively soon. This will go to our Life Wizard. Dragonfire Handgun. Flammable effect reduces the enemy's fire resistance. It doesn't cause a slow? I thought it did. I could be wrong, though. You have fire damage already as your base. Oh, well then, you know what? We'll do you. You can have... Okay, Steam Tank. Oh, actually, Steam Tank with poison application might also be quite nice. Will the Steam Tank do fire damage? It will not. Okay, I want to see something. You do 25 speed reduction. Oh, that's actually, yes, so I wasn't crazy about that. It does, in fact, do better. So we'll do that there, and then the Witch Hunter can then have the Poison Asp Bow. It feels more appropriate for the Witch Hunter to have that. Holy Fire and all that aside. Shrieking Blade can give somebody magical damage, and as to who, I guess it remains to be seen. You're not a real army, so not for you. Gavin, however, is. He has that Axe of Otwin. Now let's get him at least a armor piece, which we don't have any here. And oh, right. I was going to get the other Trickster Shard. Ooh, wait a moment. Okay, let's get you the armor for now. Was it this turn that we can move the scouts again? Yes. Alright, are you close enough to find Gelt now? Depending on who's down here. I see Central Confederacy rebels might retake this, and no, that's Karazakarek and the Golden Order. Alrighty, let's just take a look at you. Oh, actually doing fairly well. And they don't particularly like us. Oh, but I guess we can't select them for, well, I guess we got one more turn to wait anyway. So, beautiful. They'll like us or not. Why don't they like us? What the heck? Minus... Oh, because we meet them as soon as we get the Confederation debuff. Annoying, perhaps, but it won't be relevant if we immediately confederate them anyway. And that'll be nice. Though holding their territory with the limited number of armies will be a little bit iffy. Man, if we could have done it this turn, we could have used materials at sea to build stuff in their territory as well, but alas, it looks like that's not going to happen this time. Oh well, Wolfheart Scout, you also got places to be, buddy. Go this way.
That's what the Emperor commands.
Elspeth, your turn, sort of. I mean, I guess we could land at Schoppendorf, it's just that... Oh, you know what, I should have taken... Yeah, I should have taken Allenhof for us, even with the fealty thing. Not just so that you didn't take damage, but also so that we could have landed Elspeth there. I really don't want to spend the money on this, though. Well, either way, Karl still has stuff to do. Oh, you know what we could also do? Let's do a little round of naming. I so enjoyed running and gunning. These armies are always pretty fun. All right, let's do you. Sigmarsh Skirmishers. I like so. Badlands Gunslingers. pack of the black hand. Is it gonna fit? Oh, wow, it fits. Just barely, but it fits. And pesky pistol wielders. Like so. And we can name at least one of the pistoliers as well. You, firstborn riders. Yeah, I might as well do a few more names. I do believe we got halberds in your army now. Yes. Alrighty, so halberds. Franz's forks. Like so, and then you spears can be Sigmar's toothpicks. Though again, it remains to be seen. Well, again, we'll replace these guys with Eldred's Guard, but we could probably also, you know, make them stronger. Oh, right, you need another Empire Captain. You're a champion, right? You are indeed a champion. Alright, we'll deal with that in a little bit. Anyway, first of the Drakewald Riders, you can be Spera. And hopefully we can get a few more in a little bit. 7 turns? Alright, it's getting there. As soon as these guys get to 2, we'll have to take one of them on as well, pretty much immediately. So I'm going to have to keep an eye on that. Anyway, let's do... Was there anybody in Karl's army that still needed to be named? Oh, right, we got the 2 new greatswords, and I never named this Imperial Foot, did I? I intended to, but apparently I did not. Alright, fair enough. You, Imperial Foot. You can be... Königsgarde. I cannot do an umlaut in this game, I believe, or at least I'm pretty sure I can't, but anyway. Great swords, you can be... can't spell today. You can be Teutoburger Garde. I don't know, like that. And then lastly, well, Blackfire Butchers, apparently to commemorate that fight at Blackfire Pass. Blackfire Butchers. Alright, good enough for now. You. I guess we're fighting this. First battle against the Dark Elves, a smaller one, but they do have Black Arc support, and we do need to be very wary of that, as it can do a massive amount of damage. Plus, if we take too much damage, these guys will be able to hit us pretty hard in reprisal. And go. Alrighty, here we go. Karl versus his first set of Dark Elves. A little bit of a warm-up for the sort of main stacks that the enemy has in our now. And we're going to start the battle off as we usually do now that we have that Pegasus on that Gold Wizard with a nice Gehenna's Golden Hounds, primarily targeting the unit of enemy Dark Shards. Unfortunately, both of the Gehenna's Vortexes will move away from them, but all good. Decent little bit of damage to them. We are going to wait on the hill for the enemy to move on, and this is this is an army I'm sure that we could defeat with decent ease, but we have to wait for the enemy to start dropping that Black Arc support. I would rather wait while essentially not moving, and then as the Black Arc support starts, then we can essentially charge down the hill, thereby avoiding it and not allowing the enemy to use it upon us whilst we are standing in the fight with the enemy. As I'm sure we've seen many a time with like warp nukes and stuff, warp bombs, Skaven nukes, whatever, they are perfectly willing to obliterate a bunch of their own units. Anyway, this is what we were waiting for. The Black Arc support bombardments come down. We have also destroyed the enemy Dark Riders over on the right flank, and this means that we can move on in. Though, by the looks of it, at least to some degree, we don't really need to, as the enemy is nearly made their way fully up the hill. Karl's distracting some range units. Theodore Bruckner will charge forward with the great swords, one of which has been tasked with knocking out the enemy unit of Blackguard of Nagaron, who are quickly obliterated. If you're wondering, if you're thinking that's way too quick, it's because while they were climbing the hill, we had the handguns focused down, the Blackguard of Nagaron being by far the biggest threat on the battlefield. Alright, and it looks like the enemy army is quickly being demolished here. Grenades coming in from the Bordermen, mortar shells dropping down on the enemy below, the Zintler's Reichsguard, and our other unit of Reichsguard chasing the enemy down as well, and even the mounted yeomen about to join the fray. Enemy will get that activation at last of the murderous prowess, but it's too late, as unfortunately they did not have enough units to take advantage of it, and we didn't lose enough units for them to have made this worth an effort, or the effort. There we go. With that, the first of the Dark Elven Corsairs, the raiders and reavers of our coasts, have been destroyed, and we should be able to destroy the Corsairs of Spite with one more fight. Alright, there we go, some solid rock, paper, scissorsing out of Karl's army there. He was able to, well, have the great swords obliterate the Black Guard of Nagaron with their armor-piercing damage. The shielded units of Imperial Foot took the enemy range damage upon their shields. Our Reichsguard defeated the enemy cavalry, such as it is. Of course, Dark Riders, the melee variant, are not going to be particularly threatening. And generally speaking, again, lots of damage out of the Bordermen. All good work from everybody. Decisive victory, 1,000 gold, a little bit of prestige as well. We'll occupy the place, and thereby, before the materials at sea ends, we'll be able to have at least one turn with the Council of Burgomeisters up and running. So I guess we could just wait to upgrade one of you. Save a little bit of cash on that at least. And a free Apprentice Wizard, another Scroll of Leeching, which I actually don't care for either. Meaning, what we can do is this. Okay, Old North Road is fine. Now let's go to Scroll of Leeching. And combine that with the Earthing Rod into a Trickster Shard, which is pretty darn okay. Minus 20% miscast base chance alone is quite nice. Alright. Looking okay otherwise. And then these guys, obviously the legendary weapons are going to Lords, if you're wondering why I haven't applied them anywhere. Though the Vissenland Runefang could temporarily go on one of the ranged armies.
Elspeth von
Obviously, because we can't put it on Elspeth. Well, I mean, we can't put it on Elspeth, we just can't use it anyway. I think these armies should be able to take care of these just fine, although we need more armies to actually catch them. That's the irritating aspect of that. And again, we do still have to find Malagor. I don't spot... wait. No, I don't think so. I was wondering whether that was his hidden encampment, but I don't see it anywhere on the map. Could very well be out here somewhere. Wait. No. Alright, well, we'll find him, I'm sure. Let's do building. We do have 2 more turns of tribute as well, which is nice. Anyway, money making... Okay, this place, ignore it for now because it is costly. Fastberg or Grossfer... Yeah, we'll do you. This one will upgrade next turn. Oh, right. I wanted to build here in Reikland Forest. Was it Reikland Forest that I wanted to do this in? Or was it somewhere else? Wait a moment. I think it was Reikland. Alright, we have money here, Alright, let us do the 2 buildings of the common temples. It's only 3,000, they usually cost 6,000, and they give money in the province as well as control in adjacent territories. The more of these we have, the easier it'll be to future confederate. Our central territories should probably be using the common temples everywhere, and then our outer territories will have more military structures for adjacent, or not for adjacency, but for various capacities. Makes sense to me. Anyway, slash scratch deep, you are gonna need the tap room. It's never gonna get cheaper. Might as well build it right now. Mirror Moors, Glimdworo. I guess we could do the same thing. Oh, wow, is this a yellow territory? Yeah, it's an unpleasant climate. Well, that's not super critical right now. Volgan, yes, we'll upgrade the hunting lodge here. Anything that'll give us additional cash at this place. I mean, I guess we could upgrade Zutzen, but there's no guarantee that it doesn't immediately get taken out by Malagor. On the other hand, it's relatively cheap. I'll just do it. Alrighty, and then just to double check, we need one of these upgrades. So Black Rose Chapter House, we absolutely critically have to upgrade this next turn. Alrighty, next up we have... I mean, we still have to move Elspeth, I guess. These guys aren't really any kind of threat. So we can more or less ignore them. And also, Theodric von Bluten, you will... I mean, you have Leader of Renown for now, so I guess we'll get Emperor's Finest. We're actually going to have to reset you because I was originally... I guess I was going to make you a recruiter. But now you're going to be a Greatsword Commander. We'll deal with it. You have Cryomancer, which is fine. I like the melee defense. Glacial Blast is kind of mad because it hurts your own units, but otherwise, yeah, Curse of the Midnight Wind is pretty great, so we'll do that, and we'll get Urnon's Thunderbolt as well. Alrighty. Elspeth. Again, for the 50th time. I guess... Wait. Oh, wait. Here's what we'll do. You go here. Elspeth. You can save most of your movement range by not moving right now. If we grab Schoppendorf with Dolph here next turn, yes, it'll cost us to colonize. Oh, or we do it with you. Huh, wait a moment. Because then we could go towards this guy. How much would this cost again? It was 2,500? Huh? Okay, it's not... Okay. It's not saying. Why is it not saying? This can't be full of Skaven, can it? Whoa. No, we destroyed Clan Skull. Okay, I don't know what the deal is there, but it's certainly something to be wary of. Hey, we found Karazakarak. Oh, wow, Karazakarak is not having a good time at all. Alright, well, we're gonna need to help him out. Take all those hills that the dwarfs apparently don't like being in. Might as well take them for ourselves. The rest of this is fine. Huh? Wait, are you telling me that the Golden Order can't be confederated by the standard confederation type? We have to confederate him the old-fashioned way? I guess we'll find out next turn. Wait, this is the only place you can land? Oh my, okay, well, you need to identify a city anyway. Anyway, since you're not landing this turn, Elspeth, just sit here, channel, max out your stuff, and then we'll get ready to move you towards the Vamps next turn. Let's end the turn real quick. Hey, the Silver Seal quest battle is available. That will coincide nicely with the potential confederation. Okay, game, please. What is this? The rival states of Westerland and Hockland have been unable to blah. Alrighty, civil war between the two counts has been prevented. Stop the war. Alrighty, we've already had one of those, so I wasn't going to give it a read. Ready for duty, another light college acolyte, always nice, mostly because of the anti-corruption that we are, well, very much in need of right now. These guys are still being extremely annoying. Can you now reach Schoppendorf or no? Looks like you're just out of range. Alright, we'll probably have to land you to do it. What was I saying? Alright, at the end of the turn, I was worried that these guys would actually go after Waldemar. What they could have done is besieged Arnau, and then while it was besieged, kill Waldemar, because, what, do we even need you? Oh yeah, you're a marksman commander. We were going to give you artillery. And that would have been unfortunate. Fortunately for us, the enemy did not do it, and we can attack them here for a very proper battle against the Dark Elves. That said, this episode has gone very, very long. As usual, when I'm having fun, I just keep on going and going. So I'm going to call the episode here. Next time, we got 2 guaranteed big battles against all the Dark Elves, 2 3/4 stacks plus the garrison, and Dark Elf garrisons are pretty insane, so that'll be something to fight. Probably also the Silver Seal battle, as well as a confederation, whichever one we decide is the of most import. Ooh, wait, can you... I just want to see something. Well, Badlands is red territory for us, so we would have to... Oh, but we'd want to keep the... Circle of the Sun, so we just have to deal with it. You know, what I want to see is this. We are not able to confederate Gelt this way. Huh, interesting. Wait. And but we're also not able to confederate Sigmarsheim this way, so this means that we just plain can't confederate Sigmarsheim. That's quite interesting. I guess it's only... Wait. Because, yeah, this requires 10 fealty, but then why can't Sigmarsheim... Wait a moment. What about you, then? Okay, you do have fealty, but Sigmarsheim does not, so it just plain can't be confederated, but Gelt can. It's kind of a bizarre situation. I was really banking on getting Sigmarsheim, because if then we were to conquer Gisoro, we could then have this essentially road through Musion to the coastline in Bretonnia, but I guess that's not a possibility. And Gelt has no fealty, so I guess we're just going to have to be friends until he loses all his armies and we confederate him. Oh well, not a big deal. We'll be friends, and we'll just keep on moving southward to finding Volkmar the Grim. Plus, hopefully Teclis will remain alive, and then we'll be friends with all of them as well. Oh, wow. Whoa, 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 whoa. Karazakarak has fallen. The Silver Road, Agrildrin, has fallen. It's only Barakavar that remains, and damn. Thorgrim is not doing well at all. I mean, Grimgor, Clan Na, Clan Mordkin, Bloody Spears, and Yellow Eye all destroyed him, eh? Poor guy. I wonder if we can make an army, put together an army fast and send it down there to help him out. But whether we can or we can't, I guess we're going to have to find out next time, because as I said, we're out of time. I'm going to call it here next time. Lots of battles, Silver Seal, Dark Elves, hunting these jerkos, and we're going to start moving Elspeth towards the vampire counts, while our Drekwold army heads for Malagor, whether it be his settlement or his main army, if we can ever find it. So stay tuned for all that. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below, especially the threshold for the longer episodes and streak. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.